Hey, what up, you guys? Rasathi out here in Singapore. It's been 3 days since I looked at you. No, I'm playing. Okay, I'm having a little bit of a smash mouth flashback. Anyway, wanted to get back on here, get back in the swing of things. This morning I got out of run shoot. Outside of that, I got, kind of the whole week laying out before me to be able to get some work done. I want the rest of December basically to be set up for 2020, right? Because I have everything in the pipeline. I just need to make sure it's organized and set up in such a fashion that people know where to find me, know what to look for. Everything is easy to get done, right? So here I am getting ready to set things up. Dad left this morning, so I've been up early, cleaning up the house, kind of like putting things in motion. So I'm excited. Meanwhile, what I've been noticing is I still ask for help. I ask for help because I want to have conversations with people. It's an excuse to have conversations with people, but people don't really seem to realize that I'm doing it because I want to talk to you. I know I don't need to ask you for help. I know I can find all the damn answers on Google and YouTube and whatever else. There are plenty of tutorials on Instagram. There's like classes. Look, I can find the answer. But the reason I speak to you people is because I want to have a conversation with you. So when I ask somebody, hey, how do I do this? I'm looking for a conversation. I'm not looking for you to just give me the answer right off the bat. I want to have a conversation. I want to have a dialogue. I want to go back and forth a little bit, so we can actually talk about things, to discover how you found those answers out, to understand why it's done the way that it is. Because trust me, I can get the answer. When we were growing up, if we asked mom, hey, what does this mean? The first thing she'd be like, oh, look it up. Obviously, okay, that was good. It was a really great, resourceful skill that we had, that we can go out and look things up, as in like go to the encyclopedia, go do research in a library, go look at the damn dictionary to find the damn definition. We can do all those things. It's easy. We know how to do that. What we're lacking severely in is human relations skills. To talk to somebody and ask for help in such a manner that the other person understands that you see me as some kind of an expert. That's why you're coming to me instead of like looking it up yourself, right? And that I can actually give you some valuable information. Obviously, I could pay $10 and get some crazy crackpot answer from somebody. I could pay hundreds of dollars and go see a consultant. I could look it up on the internet. I could WebMD myself into like all kinds of trauma, okay? But the point being that if I'm going to ask you, is because I trust that you've been through it and you understand what's going on. Maybe you've been to the place I want to go. Maybe you've survived the trauma that I'm currently facing. Maybe you learned how to cook a specific way because of certain things that lined up in your life. Let me tell you this. I did not know how to cook soul food. I didn't even know what soul food tasted like until I married into a black family, okay? And even then, every culture has their own way of doing things. Every family has their own culture. So it's like culture upon culture. It's like millions of ways that it can be done. But eventually I tasted a lot of cornbread, and I tasted a lot of creamed corn, and I tasted a lot of pumpkin pie, peach cobb, like all the stuff that I tasted. I decided what I liked and what I didn't like. And once I figured out what those key ingredients were, I was able to go look up a recipe that had the key ingredients that were important to me and keep on going from there. Then it was just trial and error. Try a couple times, fail a couple times, throw out a bunch of food, waste a bunch of money, but eventually I figured out how to do what I needed to do. Same thing with sewing. I screwed up a lot. A lot of the stitches were crooked. They were uneven. You could see them on the outside where you weren't supposed to see. There was supposed to be hidden hems and all of that shit, right? I thought I was great. I thought I was just slick. Nope, I wasn't. I screwed up a lot. I watched a lot of tutorials. Eventually, I spoke to my grandmother and she said, no, this is how you do this. You unpick another shirt that you don't use anymore and you figure out where all the seams are. And then you cut according to those lines and you figure out how to make stuff. And I was like, shit, that's not easy enough. But you know what? Because she's done it that way, she was able to send me that route. If I go on the internet, they're going to ask me to go buy a pattern, cut according to the pattern, then fold along the dotted lines that are on the pattern, which are not on the clothing. And how am I supposed to do all that? It would be a whole lot easier to figure out how things are made by cutting up something that's already been made, like reconstruct it or deconstruct it to reconstruct it. Does that make sense? But I wouldn't know that unless somebody got up and told me that's how you do things. So trust me, when people say, hey, oh, you can just look it up on the internet. Well, duh, genius. Of course, I know I can Google everything. I don't need you. I want to speak to you, though. I want to hold a conversation. I'm asking you because I'm choosing to ask you. And even then, there are like, 5 billion people on the damn planet? You think I need to ask you out of all the people in the entire universe how to do something? No. I am choosing to ask you how you do things because I want that dialogue. I want that banter. I want to know how you did it. And sometimes there's like a, it's a double-edged sword. Okay, maybe not a double-edged sword. That's a bad example. But maybe there's another not so obvious reason that I want to speak to you. Maybe I know that you're going through some things and you're struggling with your identity, and maybe you don't know if you're good at anything. Maybe you're questioning whether your ability to affect people's lives or make a great product or create art that's worthy of, conversation. Maybe you're not trusting any of those things. Maybe you're going through a rough spot with your confidence. Well, guess what? If I ask you for your help, won't that boost your confidence? Won't you get to talk about something you love and know so much about? It's the reason I do interviews. I interview people, not people that are super great or anything, but I interview people so they get to tell their story. And the way I interview them, guess what? More than 5 or 6 of them out of the 50 that I've done have decided to start doing podcasts because I did. Because they saw how easy it was. Because it was seamless and uninhibiting. It was a great conversation between two friends for the world to see, and they forgot how much they loved whatever it was that we ended up talking about. I've had a lot of people end up changing careers. Some of them are entrepreneurs, and they decided, you know what, the product I did put out before is not really what I'm totally obsessed about. I need to be doing this instead. Case in point, Wild Love Nation. She wasn't sure what she wanted to do. She did nails and she wanted to counsel, and of course she wanted to be a life coach, but she wasn't sure which direction she wanted to get at. Well, guess what? Wild Love, all about intimacy, relationships, sex, emotions, playthings, okay? And she wasn't sure about that until we started having more and more conversations. I remember speaking to a guy that was just following another guy along because he was a rap artist. He wanted so badly to be a producer. He wanted to make beats, and he wasn't sure if he could or not. And guess what? Through the course of conversation, I got him to start making one beat a day. Just one beat. Focus on one beat. I mean, how hard could that be? If you love it, if you're obsessed with it, that's nothing. That's like watching one episode of a cartoon, honestly. And he started making one beat a day, and eventually he realized he didn't need to chase behind some rap artist. He could just drop beats. And eventually he could make a mixtape, and eventually he could sell sets of beats. So you hear me when I say, if I choose to have a conversation with you, there's a purpose behind it. If I'm asking you for help, there's a purpose behind me asking you specifically for help. I could dance with anybody. I could dance on by my damn self. I don't need a partner. I could choreograph stuff. I could make sure that baby girl has, the kind of covers and dance moves that I think would be really, really eye-catching. And eventually, the more that I coordinate and dance with her, she'll eventually be able to do the same thing for herself. But you know what? If I ask you and say, hey, you're a great dancer, I like the way you do things, why don't we collab and do something together? It's because I specifically think that you have a gift, and if I can actually share the stage with you for a little bit, maybe you get a different set of people watching you, not just the same old in Singapore. Does that make sense? I know we are all individuals. I know we are all independent. I know we're all resourceful. We can all get the answers we need from wherever. We don't need to ask nobody for nothing. Look, back in the day, we used to have to stop at the corner of wherever, stop in a mom and pop shop, ask somebody for directions. Guess what? I got GPS now. I don't even look at anybody's faces if I don't want to. But I want to. Because human relations, that skill set, that polite, hey, I'm sorry, I'm lost at the moment, can you help me? That trust that the other person is going to give you the right directions, because trust me, even when I ask for directions now, I do get turned around a little bit. But the fact that you'll put yourself out there and ask for help, not everyone does that anymore. No one has that skill set anymore. No one has the patience anymore. And I hate that. I really, really, really do. I want us to be able to have the kind of relationships where we can ask each other for help. Look, a lot of y'all would rather ask strangers for help than ask your spouse, your parents, your best friend, because you don't want to be seen as stupid. You don't want to be judged by anybody. But that's not the point of having human relationships, y'all. Yeah, I could look it up. Yeah, I could ask a stranger. Yeah, I would rather go outside of my relationship and talk about a problem that I'm having rather than talk to the person, as in like go straight to the horse's mouth. Why is that? Ain't that a problem? Doesn't that open you up for all kinds of worms? Come on. So sure, yeah, I could look it up. But that's not the point. I want your input. I value your input, your history, your understanding of the subject matter. So I'm telling y'all need to knock it off with that. Oh, it's on Google. Don't send me the link. Don't tell me where to look it up. Tell me what your experience is. I want to know. I'm asking you specifically. All right? All right, y'all. I'm going to catch y'all later. Y'all take care. Bye.